Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'm back to Dead Crow Comics. Floyd Tangeman at Dead Crow sent me a big package, a big care package of their latest books that they've put out. This one, Miasma Myopia, is one of Floyd's works all the way through. Most of the stuff coming out from them are collaborative works or anthologies. I know Floyd's the publisher or the editor over there at Dead Crow. Kind of seems like he's the leader of the pack that's making it all happen for this group of artists. And this is his book here. And a lot of Floyd stuff that I've looked at before is pretty chaotic, and I haven't known what to make of it. And it just looks like a schizophrenic guy going nuts in his journal or something like that. And finding out that they're from the Bay Area, like in my last review, definitely helped me kind of get where they're coming from a little bit. And then this one, it seems more focused to me. Like the art is more like an image. It's not just a sketchbook page with random stuff all over it. And you see Floyd's graphomania taking over and creating these really, really compelling images. And then he's talking about these transmissions. These are a series of transmissions. So that instinct I had that this is coming from that psychedelic scene, the DIY spirituality of the Bay Area, that seems to be saturated in this. And so when you're looking at a work like that, I think you're inherently dealing with something that's really wide open for interpretation. It's hard to get what the artist was saying out of it, and I don't know that the artist necessarily knows themselves in the way they're operating. It seems to have automatic drawing, automatic writing behind it, and I think the artist is probably interpreting the work as much as the audience is. That's my sense of it, and that's a really, especially doing a review, and especially the way my brain works in terms of critique, is hard for me to approach, because I'm usually trying to figure out what the artist is up to, and if what the artist is up to is kind of like being figured out by the artist maybe after they make the work, then it's a little bit harder for me too. I think it has the same thing as Jim Woodring, where it seems like, there's a lot in his work to enjoy and pull out, but he seems to have understood the message better than anyone else, but he doesn't seem to have understood it till afterwards. I feel like that same thing about Floyd's work, but he has some, pretty interesting quotes up here. He's obviously someone who's constantly reading, but you can see even in the type of things he's quoting, it has a little bit more fluid kind of approach to writing. So it says, "Yet it was as though fate had fixed his age at some unidentifiable moment in the past, when his persistent objective self, perhaps weary of standing askance and watching his downfall, at last withdrawn from him altogether, like a ship secretly leaving harbor at night. And a river of tongues dreams, fish interlaced with spears, you wind yourself about the earth like intestines, like rods upright and twisting, straight and collapsing. In your configuration, history flows in the waste of land, stretching like a snake." It's metaphoric, and that kind of stuff is just hard for me to translate. So to me, it's more about just the flow of how it sounds and the song of it with that kind of work. And again, I've done that kind of writing myself. It's really fruitful to do yourself, but as a reader, it's hard for me. And then I think with all the Dead Crow stuff, the hand lettering in it fits, it looks right, but it is hard to read. And so my brain just is like, it's a barrier to actually consuming what's been written. And so the way I experienced this book was more just visually. I couldn't read it so much and take meaning out of that. And so I'm just looking at the flow of the images throughout it. And then I take on the approach that I really enjoy when I'm looking at these more intentionally poetic works like Hugh Nguyen stuff, where it's more about what I call the poetics of form. So even though there's definitely representations of things couched within here, landscapes, buildings, obviously a lot of waves. There's a boat here. It looks like beach stuff to me at night. There's it's really just more about the motion and the change of the shapes and things like that, and I really like that. I really get off on that kind of thing in art. And here, we get some really controlled use of texture that's really impressive. I feel like, a touchstone for me for Floyd's work, now that I've spent more time looking at it and think about it, is like William Blake, that type of revelation things. The stories aren't as symbolically decipherable as Blake's seemed to be to me, but it has that urgency behind it, that just like being pumped in from somewhere else. And then getting more experimental with materials as well. Right here we have an interlude, and you have a lot of pasted up stuff, and it started reminding me of Baron Story's work and how he influenced Bill Sienkiewicz, Dave McKean, David Max Kabuki's coming up a lot for me while I'm looking at a lot of this Dead Crow stuff, because of the collage, the words scattered around, and poetry and poetics of form coming together in a really interesting way that some of those earlier artists did as well. So there's a legacy there a bit. This page was crazy to me, just all these intense panels. And there are, again, a lot of these poetics of form where you can see it looks like it was all done so quick with such energy, but there was a fair amount of time spent on each one of these, and like they seem reactionary to each other, one from the next, but you get a sense too that like the reaction from here to here, you're not thinking about this yet, and so each one is just a reaction to the previous one. And God knows what that all adds up to, but it's not entirely non sequitur either. There is these sequences like this where it's very sequential with form and motion, and then other ones where there are big jumps, and that kind of making it up in each moment, automatic comicking, it's writing and drawing at the same time, is compelling. It's I have plenty of sketchbook pages like this where you just kind of cut loose and have fun. And I actually think it's kind of brave to put that stuff out, because like to me, I don't even know what I'm doing when I'm doing that stuff, and so it's hard for me to put it out, because like I don't know, I'm not saying anything, it was just doodling. So I admire that it's like a way to package and focus the doodles in a sense. And some real material play here. I love all this scratchy ink work. I don't know why that composition just gets me. So I have no idea what this book is about. I don't think it's supposed to be about anything. I think it is just leaning into automatic comicking. That's what it feels like to me. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on in it. So I appreciate this, Floyd. This is really cool. It's fun to struggle with someone's work a little bit too, and start to get a better sense of it. This right here actually feels, this is very Bay Area to me, a lot of this stuff. So it's cool, like I'm seeing these people evolve as well, which is really, really nice. And it's cool to see Floyd in a focused package, because his stuff's usually couched, one or two pages within this bigger thing. And to see him have that statement of his own, and this is apparently volume 1, so there should be more of these, which I look forward to. So yeah, thanks Floyd so much for sending these over. I really appreciate it. I hope people can go out and support what Dead Crow's doing. I do think they are kind of forming like a new underground movement over there in the spirit of the original underground movement, updating it, beat poetry, all that stuff's coming together. So I think that's cool. I hope people can get behind that. If you like what we're doing here on the channel and you want to support us, there's 2 ways to do it. One is through our Patreon. We have 2 tiers of engagement there, come with different exclusive content and voting rights, things like that. The money we get from that helps us buy the books that we review, unless people like Floyd are kind enough to send them along for free. But we try and turn that money back to other creators in the community, and that helps us expose their work too. And then if you really want to support Living the Line, the best thing to do is support Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at one of the projects that Sean has out now. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Miel van de Peet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground, so they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. What is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.